Welcome to another video
of Understanding Technology
with Christian Trujillo. Well, hello, my name is Christian Trujillo. I'm one of the Senior Systems Engineers Solutions Architects here at GST. And today we're going to be talking about virtualization. We'll be covering the topic at a high level just so that we can understand the concept much better. So what's virtualization? Before we even get started on the virtualization topic, I want to do a little bit of overview on servers. We talked about servers and storage on a different video, but to be able to get started, I want to share some information on the servers. On the previous video, we talked about the different components of a server. We talked about the RAM, and we said that that allows us to store information for short periods of time. And we talked about the concept of reading a book and how when you read a book, you will basically just retain the information as you're reading it. But if I was to ask you to tell me or read me the whole page from beginning to end without looking at the book, you will probably won't be able to do it. Why? Because you and I are only able to retain a certain amount of information at a time. So that will be the RAM on a server. We also talked about servers having a CPU, which basically is kind of our brain, right? That allows us to do multiple things at the same time. We said that you're probably watching the video, and as you're probably reading, as you're probably drinking your coffee, as you're probably watching people pass by or whatnot, right? So that's what allows us to multitask. So that's what allows the servers to multitask, the CPU. We also talked about the fact that servers also have network cards, which is the language, the media through where servers are able to communicate. And we gave the example that you and I speak and understand English, and that we are able to communicate that way. We're able to share information, send and receive information through that media, which is our language. So in the server, it's very similar, right? There are different protocols, so that means that everybody has to be able to talk the same language, but that's what allows the server to communicate with other servers, with multiple servers at the same time, is what allows to share that information in the network. We also talked about servers having power supplies, right? And the power supply is basically what allows and gives power to all the different components in the server. And the last part that we talked about was the hard drives. We said that RAM allows you to store short amount of information and for a period of time, whereas the hard drive allows you to store a lot of information for as long as you like until you delete it. So that will be the difference there. Now, I wanted to cover that because those are the different resources of a server, right, that are used to provide certain services within a network, within a corporation environment. So now, let's go into virtualization, okay? And to cover this topic, I want to use an analogy. All right, so if you look at this picture, this is a big house, okay? And this is almost like a mansion, okay? And there's only a family of 3 living in this house. Now, this house have resources to be able to allow the people that live here to be able to be comfortable, right? So it has water, it has electricity, it has gas, it has all kinds of resources that allow the people that live here to live comfortably. However, this big house is using and occupying a big piece of land, right? And it's occupying a lot of space here, and it's only 3 people living here, right? Now, let's give this other example. This apartment complex. This apartment complex is using pretty much the same size of land, the same space, if you will, of land as the big house. However, the difference is that this big apartment is now hosting multiple families, maybe families of 3, maybe families of 4, but there's a lot of them. One thing to remember is that in this apartment complex, there's also resources. Right? There is gas, there's also electricity, there's also water, there's all these resources. However, these resources are being shared amongst the different tenants, the different apartments that exist on this apartment complex. Okay, so now why are we talking about houses and apartments? Well, the big house, the mansion, it's basically the old way of doing things, right? The non-virtualized way, where you have a dedicated, just one physical server, like in the picture, one physical server serving just one purpose and one application. As you can see here, maybe is this box serving with an operating system, maybe is Windows or Server 2012. That's all is installed here. And maybe on top of this operating system, there's an application running. Maybe it's our email server, okay? And that's all the purpose that this piece of hardware is occupying, is providing. Whereas in the virtualized environment, which will be the apartment complex, right, is the same physical server, the same type of hardware with an application, an operating system, if you will. In this case, let's use ESX. ESX is the operating system from VMware that basically turns this house into an apartment complex. So now we can host multiple families, multiple homes inside this one physical server. Now we're doing this virtually, right? So we have an apartment complex now that has water, electricity, all that. In this case, we have RAM, we have hard drives, we have network, and all those resources from the server standpoint. But now it's being shared amongst different servers. So now instead of hosting just one operating system 2012 with one application mail server, now I can host multiple ones. Now I can host 5, 6, 7, as many as I want to if the resources are available to me, so that I can host multiple servers. What does that do to an environment? Well, it reduces the space, the physical space of the server is occupying. It also, you can save money on electricity, money on all kinds of different stuff. But one of the other benefits of this is that the redundancy and the ability to back up this type of servers is much easier, right? Because now everything is virtualized. And with that virtualization technology that VMware and other hypervisors provide, it allows you to replicate and send servers from one place to another. Whereas before, if you only had one physical server running one application, one operating system, it would be really hard to move these to a different location and have a copy of these physical servers somewhere else in case this data center went down. Whereas with the virtualization, I can have one physical server here running multiple VMs, virtual machines, multiple servers, and then another one somewhere else in the country running also other servers virtualized, and I can just send it over there right away, really quick, without downtime, without having to turn off the server, without having to do any maintenance on it. We just move it over. That allows better replication, better high availability, redundancy, and so on and so forth. So there's definitely a lot of benefits to virtualization. This, at a high level, is what virtualization is about. This is what the concept is, and hopefully this makes sense to you guys, and hopefully it's helping you guys out. We will be going in detail more about the different components, different stuff, but for today, that's all I wanted to cover. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you for watching. Please send me an email if you have any questions, suggestions, or feedback about this or future topics.